Michael, explain what motivated you to run for election.
I felt motivated to run for the election because I've been serving the citizens of Scottsbluff County for a number of years in a lot of different areas. And I want to see this area grow, but yet maintain its heritage of rural ranching and farming. I want this to be a kind of county that families want to move to and raise families. And I feel that the values that we have in Scottsbluff County really are important to our state as a whole.
Michael, what areas of county government interest you the most and why?
My priorities are the law enforcement portion of the county, the sheriff's department, and the detention center, because I want our citizens safe. And we do have one of the best sheriff's departments in the state. I've had the opportunity to train with them for 12 years as a transport officer. They have the best firearms training that I've ever seen. Also, the detention center. The detention center is blessed to have contracts with U.S. Marshal Service. We hold prisoners for Wyoming, the District of Wyoming, District of South Dakota, District of North Dakota, and also District of Nebraska. And I've experienced transporting those prisoners and working with the U.S. Marshals. Also, I really appreciate the staff we have at the administration building. They work hard. They make life very pleasant for me as a county citizen. And one of the things I want to work on is making a really positive work environment that they feel appreciated and that there's teamwork in the county between departments, between commissioners, between department heads, and the community.
Anyone have anything else they'd like to add?
Well, one more thing.
Okay, go ahead.
I've been following the legislature, the LB 920. This here would definitely affect Scottsbluff County if it was passed. What would happen is drug convictions would be reduced down to a Class 1 misdemeanor. That means those individuals, instead of going to a state prison, would go to their local county jails for up to a year. And we would have the expense of paying for that. And so that would be an added cost to the county that I don't want to see happen.
Great. Michael, how many paid holidays should staff receive per year and why?
Well, I worked for the federal government, and I had the traditional 12, and then I eventually had 5 weeks of vacation, which I could never use. Each job and each business has their own standards, has their own benefit package, and so it's hard to compare my business to your business when it comes to time today for time off. I'm like Nancy, I'm open about this. I can see where possibly allowing them to have the 13th day would be a great morale builder for them. And I do know pay-wise, they are paid a lot lower than a lot of businesses in the area. And so maybe you could look at that as, we can't give you any more money, but we can reward you with another day off. But like I say, I'm open. I think that's something that needs to be negotiated between management and the county personnel board.
Michael, when it comes to administration of the departments reporting to the board, what is the proper level of oversight that commissioners should exercise?
Well, they have to do their oversight as required by county policy, but I don't like to see micromanagement. That has no business in a business or a government agency. I also like to see commissioners who enable their department heads to become better and more proficient at their job, to try things to make their departments more efficient. I also like to see good communication skills. Stop in once in a while at the department, say, hey, how's it going? And say hello to all the staff. Try to create a positive environment. And also team building. It has to be a team building effort by both commissioners and the reporting department heads.
Well, most of you have already addressed part of this, but we'll start with you, Michael, on this question. The county has hundreds of miles of paved and gravel roadways, many of which could use improvement. What ideas do you have to speed up that process?
Well, it really boils down to funding, and only 2% of the taxpayers' taxes actually go towards road maintenance, and that's determined a lot by the state. I know Scottsbluff County has 165 miles of asphalt roads. which once you put an asphalt road in, then you inherit a lot of maintenance costs. They have 810 miles of gravel road. Gravel roads are a lot less expensive to maintain, and I have to say, I've seen a great improvement in our gravel roads in my neck of the woods. They are very well maintained. And also, the part of that money goes to bridges. We got 200 some plus bridges in Scottsbluff County. So it takes money. And so I guess it really requires patience in some ways on our citizens' part to realize that the county roads is doing the best they can, and they're also investigating different options to be able to maintain those asphalt roads and gravel roads at a cost-effective way.
Michael, what role should the county play when it comes to the development of workforce and workforce housing?
Well, I truly believe the county could be a kind of like a liaison and tap into different resources out there. In their own community, we have the Career Academy at Scottsbluff High School. They're building houses. They have a kind of a career academy in Gearing. We also have community colleges that have building construction trades that they're taught. You know, those kind of people could be brought in to keep the cost down in building affordable housing. Because right now in our valley, rent is super high and starting wages are super low. And it's really hard on these young families to even be here and try to work and be able to rent a home. And I think also, like Nancy, cooperation with the different planning commissions, come up with ideas, brainstorm, you know, try to get the community involved in ways, and also properly some of our property owners. Would they be willing to possibly donate or sell at a reduced cost a section of land that could be used for building some of these houses? And then I think we do need a much better job of bringing in manufacturing. Manufacturing is needed in this area.
If a horse racing track and casino are built outside of Gearing, the county stands to receive a considerable amount of funding from that industry. Michael, what would be the best use of those revenues?
Well, I think for this county, initially be our roads, bring our roads up to standards. Also, our bridges. Bridges are very hard to maintain, very costly. Some of our bridges we have to maintain to state standards, others we don't. Also, I think pay for our law enforcement, our sheriff's department. I'd like to see that brought up to a comparable wage compared to a county equal size, equal staffing. Also, our fire services in the county, our volunteer fire departments, I think they too could benefit from a portion of those funds.
Michael, what do you believe is the proper balance to strike when considering valuation protests?
Well, I've always heard that they don't listen, and I disagree with that. I think the commissioners do listen when they go into protest, and I think a commissioner should educate himself on the prices of real estate and also the assessor. And when somebody does come into protest, they need to sit down and look at that, look at the map, the property, see what buildings they have, what size of those buildings, what kind of condition those buildings are in. I think it's good to have people trust their county commissioners and county assessor to listen to their complaints in a courteous manner. And I like to say that lately I've heard people who come in to protest and walked away quite happy. And in the past, years ago, that usually wasn't the case. And so I think the county and the commissioners come a long way in that field.
All right, we'll move on. Michael, back to you. Many of the top administrative positions in the county are also elected. What would you do to foster a spirit of cooperation with those offices?
Well, if I was county commissioner, I would go meet with them one-on-one and get to know them as a person and an individual first. Find out their strong points, their weak points, probably stop in and visit them quite frequently, but also find out if there's something they need from us to help them do their job better, and just go out of my way to make sure, if possible, we could provide that. But I think the big thing is communications. Getting to know your department heads, spending time in their office in a casual atmosphere. just visiting about how things are going, and I'd say even so much as to learn about their families. When I was in the military, I knew all my guys' wives and kids, and it really helped me as a unit commander know what my people could do, and I'd like to see that in the county, where commissioners get to really know their elected officials and create this air of cooperation. And that would flow down and reflect on the staff that works in those departments. The big thing is good communication skills and creating a positive work environment, whether they're elected or hired.
What is your stance on unfunded state and federal mandates, and why do you feel that way? Michael?
I am definitely opposed to unfunded mandates, whether they be state or federal.
Okay. Michael, if you're elected at the end of a 4-year term, how would you define success?
Success to me would be all areas of the county working more efficiently. Also, a work environment where we have waiting lists for people who want to apply to work for the county, especially in our detention center, our sheriff's department. In fact, just all areas. I know like our roads department, they got 31 employees. It'd be nice to have a few more and then have a waiting list of qualified individuals who want to work for our county.
Michael, you have 60 seconds for a closing statement.
Well, I believe in servant leadership. One must be willing to serve in order to be an effective leader. My experience as a military officer has provided me effective leadership skills. I have extensive training and experience in emergency management and search and rescue operations, to include advanced ICS 400 for command and general staff in an emergency. I have served for 16 years as a trainer, team leader, tracker, and chaplain for the Scottsbluff and Banner County CERT team. I have completed dealing with difficult people, suicide prevention, and human trafficking trainings. I served 12 years as a Scottsbluff County Detention Center transport officer. I am currently employed part-time as a federal security contractor and a volunteer chaplain for Valley Ambulance Services. I would consider it a privilege and a calling to serve as your Scottsbluff County Commissioner. I'd like to thank the Chamber for having us all here, and thank my fellow candidates. They're a great bunch of people. Thank you.
Thank you. We'd like to thank all of our candidates running for Scottsbluff County Commissioner in District Number 1 for participating in tonight's forum. We hope that this helps you in deciding who you wish to vote for. As a reminder, in the May 10th primary election, you'll be allowed to vote for one candidate. The top vote getter in the primary election will advance to the November general election, most likely unopposed, as no other candidates have filed from other parties. This candidates forum is one of several being presented by the Government Affairs Committee of the Scottsbluff-Gearing United Chamber of Commerce. We again would like to thank the Rural Radio Scottsbluff staff for recording this forum so you can view it, our timers from WNCC for volunteering, the Chamber staff, and Scottsbluff County Clerk Kelly Sides for hosting us this evening in the Commissioner's Room. On behalf of the Scottsbluff-Gearing United Chamber of Commerce Government Affairs Committee, and for my co-chair Don Wolf, I'm Bill Boyer. Thanks again for joining us, and remember to get out.